Hello, my loves. I am super excited to be coming live. I have been getting some super intense downloads. I have some information that I'd like to share and just kind of being transparent and showing up with what's going on with me and what I'm experiencing collectively and experiencing personally. So, as you guys are hopping on, let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching the replay, just shout me out. Say hello. Let me know that you're watching. I also want to let you know before I get started into the energy update. On December 21st, this Saturday, from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be holding a live solstice event on YouTube. And this is going to be different from any of the events I've done before. So, what I'm going to be asking people to do that are wanting to join me is to kind of show up with kind of like their year in review, right? So, or decade in review. So, really showing up to this event with, the truth, how much debt they're in, what relationship struggles, what things they've let go of, what things didn't work for them, like all of the things that you guys have gone through, that we've all gone through, big shifts this year. And just showing up with all of it, because what we want to do is we want to change that energy from hardship and regret and struggle and disempowerment. We want to turn it into appreciation. We want to take those struggles and turn them into wisdom, so that we start that rebirthing of the sun, right? The true new year in the energy of appreciation and for gratitude for our journey. And so that's what that solstice event is going to be. So I really hope that you will join me. And if you are subscribed and you click all, you'll get notified when I'm live. Hi, guys. Hi, Natasha. It's been a while since I've seen you. I am well. I hope you are as well. So I'm super excited. So I've kind of been in hiding a little bit. A couple of days before the full moon, some things started really shifting for me, and I knew it was coming. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal journey and then how it reflects to the collective messages. But what I noticed for myself personally is I knew I was coming into a big quantum leap. I know that it's coming very quickly. And when that happens in the past, a lot of times I've hit a lot of resistance. I kind of get shut down and told to go within and to reflect and to rest and to do all these things. And I can't push, I can't do any of that. And so, anywhere in my life that I may be holding on too tightly to something, or something isn't serving me, it starts to get really, really loud, and it really starts to make itself known. So you'll pay attention to it and choose differently. And I've had many, many experiences of this. It's been so crazy. Things have been just breaking down, relationships not working, just old patterns repeating. So I started getting these downloads about dark forces. And I didn't go live with it because I wasn't in the space to, and I knew there was more information coming, right? And so literally I was at this table with the council, with my council, right, that I work with. And we were just having this deep discussion about dark forces. And I started to meditate more on it and receive more information, because I was very concerned. I'm not somebody who believes in dark entities or, things coming in to stop you. I believe that dark entities or dark forces are shadow aspects of self. And they confirmed that for me, at least in this scenario that's happening. And so I want to kind of explain a little bit more. We are collectively and individually going through a rebirthing right now. And this rebirthing isn't going to happen just on the solstice. It's not going to happen on the new year, right? It's going to be happening over the remainder of this month, January and February. That's when really I'm getting the bulk of this is happening. And this is mainly for the people who are already awakened and are coming into that next level of their awareness, okay? So this is what they were telling me about the dark forces and what this means. So there's a lot of our bodies have muscle memory, right? So our past is always being projected. It's always being repeated. These cycles, everything's cyclical. So something's going to come back around. It's going to be an opportunity. What they were saying is we each have signed up for our own life lessons or patterns that we are being offered the opportunity to break, to collapse timelines, to shift perceptions, to heal old wounds and traumas, and really be the change that not only we individually are desiring, right? But what the world needs, because we are the creators of our reality. We literally receive, perceive, and project, and that creates our reality. So whatever's going on internally is going to show up externally. So what they said is there's a lot of that happening. There's a lot of old patterns showing up and being presented to you, but in a way that is like intense. And like I call these tower card moments for those of you that follow tarot. And it, for me, it's just like things start falling down, relations start falling away, businesses start breaking down, you start not resonating with your employment if you're still working for, someone else. Just these big shifts, right? So some people are going to have major financial issues, whatever it may be. Wherever there needs to be a drastic change, it's going to start getting louder and louder and louder. And it's almost going to feel like something's manipulating you. And that's where I was like, ooh, I got to be careful here. And they're like, no, you don't, because a manipulation of energy is very simple. What they are saying is that if you allow a shadow aspect, right? Because when you are going through this form of ego death, if you will, right? Where we start shedding old identities. That's what's happening on a rebirth. We're shedding old identities. We're saying that person is no longer who we are, and we're willing to step into who we truly are, like the true expression of self. And we're not afraid anymore, right? We're not afraid to just show our light, to be quirky, to be who we are, and trust that is enough. And whoever doesn't resonate with that, it's like, good luck, bye. We don't need you in our space and in our energy. You have your own timeline, your own evolution to go through. But when you hold on to those aspects, right, either you're attached to it or it's really like you're right there on that edge of that next transition, that next birthing, that next version of you, it doesn't want to go, right? It doesn't want to let go. And I don't even like using that word because you're really not letting go. And I'm going to get into how you guys can really help yourselves in a minute. But as you're going through these shedding and delayering of who you are, the 3D self, the 4D self, the things you think you need to be, the conditioning, the programming, all of it, the people pleasing, the lack of boundaries, the investment into things that aren't serving you, right? When we're going through these huge shifts, which this is what we're going through right now, it's really going to get loud. Okay. And so for some of you, I know for me personally, it's happening right now. I'm in the midst of it. And it's some days I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. Like, this is a surreal moment. And for others, it's going to start showing up in January and February. So the whole point of it is when people, they're going to start talking about dark forces. They're going to start talking about, manipulative energy. And that's when you allow the shadow aspect of yourself, the versions of yourself that you have denied, repressed, aren't willing to take responsibility or ownership for, you're not willing to accept. When you don't accept those parts and pieces of yourself, they get loud and louder and louder. And you're going to feel like you're being halted. You're going to feel like your environment's being manipulated and that someone's out to get you. And it's not. So here's what they're saying. So for me personally, let me just give you a little bit of a story here. So I've had 3 big things show up in my life that really felt, I was really kind of disheartened a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, like, why is this showing up? This doesn't feel good to me. This doesn't feel like it's a vibrational match. And I got a little bit concerned, and I didn't react though. I sat myself down and I did, over the last few days, I just sat myself down, and this is part of what I teach, right? And I felt into this energy and I said, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to show me? Right? What am I not seeing right now that I need to see? Right? Because so often we get so laser focused on the problem that we don't see everything else, right? We don't see that it's actually not a problem, it's an opportunity. And so I really sat with myself and I felt this energy. And for each thing that I experienced, so I sat and I was like, I'm angry. I'm angry that this is happening. I sat and I said, I feel unsupported by the universe. I feel like I'm not being supported right now, that I haven't done enough, right? And there's that word, not enough. I haven't done enough healing. I haven't done enough shedding. I haven't been of service enough. Whatever it is, you're not supporting me. And as I was saying these things and I started to write them down, I thought, these are versions of me that I need to accept fully, right? Because no matter where we are in this journey, until we shed our bodies, we're always going to experience some duality. And we have to accept those parts and pieces of ourselves. And when we do, we actually nourish our body, right? We actually give ourselves energy. So as I sat there and I pissed off and I'm like, I'm so angry. And then I sat and I said, I accept that version of me. I accept the angry self, right? I feel so unsupported right now. And I sat with myself and put my hands on my heart. And I said, I accept this version of myself, the person who doesn't feel supported. And as I went through these, I kind of started laughing and I started feeling this energy shift within me, because it's like the child or the puppy that is screaming for your attention. And you're like, no, stop. I don't have time for this. And they're like, you're going to make time. You're going to make time. So they stop everything and they halt you and they say, enough. Look at the pattern that's repeating. It's your time to choose consciously. What are you going to do now? Are you going to use your tools that you've learned, that all this work that you've been doing? Are you going to use those tools and change your response system? Or are you going to react and fall into the old ways and old patterning? You know what is not serving you. You know what you should not be doing. And you know how you should be showing up. And you know how you should be contributing. And you know how you should be speaking to yourself. But you're not doing it, right? So for me, as I sat there and I responded differently to each and everything, I felt this huge shift internally. And what my guides and my team was telling me is this isn't over yet, because I'm personally, individually, shedding a big piece of my identity. And I'm really about to take a big quantum leap into a direction that feels really big for me, right? It puts me in front of a much bigger audience. And I kind of feel a little vulnerable and a little exposed just even thinking about it. And so for so many people, you're going through the same thing at your own level, right? So it may not be as intense as mine, but I feel for a lot of you, there's a lot of chaos around you and there's a lot of patterns repeating themselves, and it's begging you to make a conscious choice, right? My team is all about conscious choice. How are you going to show up differently this time? Right? Because it isn't about just doing the shadow work. It isn't about, yes, you need to accept your emotions. Yes, you need to accept yourself. Yes, you need to love yourself. Yes, you need to do this work. But now it's time to take action. It's time for you to put these tools into work and stop the repeating patterns. Because for those that don't and really hold on, right? And they're like, I'm just not going to change. I'm really comfortable, even though this is it's not serving me and my life's not where I want it to be. At least I know it and I'm comfortable with it. So instead of trusting in the unknown, and instead of becoming secure and certain within myself and trusting my decisions and my direction, I'm just going to stay with the old because it's familiar. That's not going to work anymore. It's going to get really intense if you don't decide to stop, find that inner strength, right? Really ignite that solar plexus and be the change that you want to see in your reality, right? Because it's not about us preaching. This is why I always share my stories and I'm very transparent, because it doesn't matter at what level we get on our journey. we still need to be humble and transparent, because the truth is, I don't care how advanced you are on your journey, how big of a person or influence you are out there. You are going to go through the thick of it still. You're still going to go through up levels, and everybody needs to know that it's okay to go through these things and experience them. It's normal. It's a part of our evolution. We're meant to have these struggles, to make conscious choices and allow those heavy, dense emotions to be our fuel, right? Our fuel. And I'm going to be going through a really cool transmission on the solstice to really help you with this kind of energy, how to transform that heaviness, that pain into fuel for creativity and to create change. So I'm super excited to share that with you. So I really asked, I said, so, okay, if we're going through this ego identity rebirthing, where we're releasing that old version of ourselves, and we're really being asked to step into our truth and express ourselves from our soul, from our heart, and not care what anybody else thinks, and really just lead from that space. What is it that we can do? And they said, be strong and invest back into you. You come first. Okay. It isn't the age of people pleasing and poor boundaries and allowing your energy to be breached all the time. It's coming to an end. It's time for us to move from being this emotional, sensitive energy to where we're doing things to make others happy, and we're doing things that aren't serving because we're still living in that old paradigm where we have to do things certain ways because this is the way it's always been and these are the beliefs. It's time to let all of that go, and it's time for you to invest back into you, create a routine, a structure that you can flow in, right? Because that's what we all want. We want that balance where we're flowing and things are moving and we're surfing and we're riding those waves. But in order to contain that energy and allow it to be full steam, we have to have a structure. And that's the missing piece right now for so many, right? So you've gone through this major expansion this year. You've really tuned into your emotions. We've been doing shadow work for years. Great. Now it's action time. You need to build your structure, and you need to allow yourself to flow within it. And it needs to be authentic. It needs to be your water, your power, your life force, and what you have to bring to the table. Do you know what I mean? When we can all self-empower, lead ourselves, and be that change, that's when we're going to see the biggest shifts collectively, right? It isn't about just follow the leader anymore. It's about, it's time to take action. It's time to change your response system. And I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how things are falling apart around them, and energy's a little chaotic. And that's a sign that you're about to quantum leap, that's a sign you're about to drop a timeline or merge a timeline or shift completely. For some of you, I'm hearing it's going to be kind of a divine intervention because you've gone off course a little bit. And I've watched that happen. I watched it happen to my daughter. Like literally, it was a swift rug pulled out, and I looked at her and I said, that was a divine intervention right there. Like you ventured so far off course that they just pulled you right back in. They said, no, ma'am, you're not going that way. So be mindful, right? Stop looking out your window at other people's journeys and really turn inward and say, how are you going to express yourself in the world? Because whatever's right for you is going to work for you, right? That's important. Let me put my glasses on so I can see these comments. Yes, Natasha says very intense, has been very hard. And you needed this. Yay. Hi, Terry Lynn. Yes, it is. It's on point for so many. And so let me just tell you, you guys have heard me talk about the Great Awakening, and that's what's happening. And we're right in the middle of this Great Awakening. There's a lot more that's coming. So we're going to go through these waves where people, like lots of people, are waking up, and they're going to be needing people to be their beacon of light. Okay. So for a lot of you, you've been doing this work for a little while, and it's really a call for you to step up and step into action. So I'd really love to hear what's coming up for you guys personally, right? So I just recorded all of the energy updates by element. So water signs, fire signs, things like that. So you can tune into those. They're going to start coming out over the next few days, and see how those resonate for you. But literally, you guys, it's time for us to all take our power back. And when you do, it's like when you start investing in yourself and putting this energy out forward that I am worthy of me and my time. I'm worthy of my beliefs and trusting in my abilities. I'm worthy of knowing that I'm good enough as I am. Because how many of us are always trying to get to that next vibration, right? How many of you are always trying to spiritually bypass and just go, let me get to this version, right? Let me connect with my higher self and just tune into that. And we can't even do that anymore, right? We really have to show up for ourselves in a new way. And when you can do that, that is the sweet victory that we're all looking for. That is the holy grail. When you realize that everything is within you, every answer you seek. So here's a cool trick that I like to do that I'd like to share with you. And these are all things that I teach in my courses and private sessions. So I'm going to walk you through just a really quick, short thing to really help you, especially with this holiday season. Okay. I saw someone post today on Facebook. They said flu is not a season. And they're so right. It's the stress. When you guys allow yourselves to be, and I've been through this, where you're stressed out and you're allowing all these other people to influence it, and you're picking up on all the collective anxiety, your system feels like it's like, it gets too much, right? So I don't want to get too far into this, but what my team and I call it is the trauma alert system. And so this trauma alert system is activated in your body when there's an energetic match, a signature match that resembles a past trauma, whether that's from this life or another lifetime, or as a child. I mean, literally, it could be passed down even through generations. But when you're experiencing that fight, flight, or freeze, and your nervous system has been activated, what I want you to do is return to self. I want you to step away. If you can, step into the bathroom, sit in your car, take a walk, whatever you need to do. And I want you to figure out where in your body you're feeling that energy. And I want you to place your hands upon that part of you, right? So let's just say it's your stomach, right? You have a stomach ache, you're stressed out, there's too much going on, you've probably eaten not great food. And now you're like, I'm on high alert. I'm feeling anxious. I'm all over the place. How do I recenter? Place your hands on that spot, or one there and one on your heart, and just begin to breathe. Breathing in to the count of 4 and out to the count of 4. And you're going to repeat that until that energy resolves, all while saying, I am safe. I trust myself. Okay. Those are the money frequencies anyway, right? And the frequencies that are all based upon stability and security, trust and worth. I am safe, right? I trust myself. I am worthy. I am enough. So just breathing that in. And when you feel that anxiety, that energy, number one, you want to check your boundaries. You want to make sure you're not pulling in from the collective or from your personal collective even, right? Because every family unit is its own collective. And you just want to breathe with whatever is showing up in your body. Breathe with it, all while repeating, I am safe and I trust. I trust. And allowing that energy to subside. And every time you can do that, when you experience something going off in your body, right? You reset that system and you're able to come into this neutrality. And that is the key frequency that we all want, is neutrality. It isn't high vibration. It obviously isn't low vibration, but it's that neutral point of peace and expansion. Because we don't need to get to that next highest level. Who you are right now in this moment, with all the things that you haven't accomplished yet, With all the things you have not received yet, you are enough. You are worthy. Right now, can you just accept yourself, who you are in this moment? Because acceptance is so important. You cannot receive what's next until you accept first, right? I always go back to the $100 bill. If I'm going to give you 100, you have to open your hand and you have to accept it in order to receive it. So whatever you do not like about yourself, your journey, what's happening in your reality, you have to stop resisting it, because it's only going to get louder and louder. And before you know it, you're going to be in full chaos and you're going to feel like you got towers dropping all around you. So stop fighting against it and stop fighting against yourself. This is the rebirth that's happening. Accept all those parts and pieces. The one that made all the mistakes, the version of you who didn't show up when she needed to, right? The version of you that people please, the version of you that was guilted into doing things, the version of you that's pissed off and angry, the version of you that's been judging yourself or other people, right? Accept all those versions of yourself. Allow them to integrate, come into light and create that expansion, because that's what you want. You want to expand. You don't want to elevate. You want to expand. And I just keep hearing that over and over again. So do you guys have any questions about the solstice energy or what you guys are experiencing? Terry Lynn says, I have totally been feeling and thinking the same way. Yes. Yes, girl. Woohoo. Scotland, the butterfly effect. I love your name. Scotland, that's awesome. I've never been there. I would like to go, though. Okay. So if nobody has any questions, I want to once again remind you of that solstice event on the 21st. It's going to be epic if you can make it. Again, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to go through a beautiful transmission using probably pieces of my new healing method, the quantum accelerated alchemy. And then final reminder is, for those of you who don't know, I'm restructuring my business completely. Surprise, surprise, right? With all this shifting and changing that's been happening in my reality. But I'm going to be pulling back from doing one-on-one sessions as much as I've done them this year. This year has been jam-packed with one-on-one sessions. So I'm going to be pulling back for that. But before I do, I have a restructure sale going on. So the 3 major healing services that I offer, they're all $111. So that's a sale of 50 to 75% off. So if you're feeling called to work with me and connect with me one-on-one, either send me a private message or shoot me an email and let's talk and see what would work best for you. I only have a few spots left for December, but I am allowing you to purchase them in December and then book in January or February when you feel called to use them. So just know, if you want to pick up 1 or 2 or pick up one for a friend even, that those are available still for a few more weeks. So I want to tell you guys all, I hope you have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then, and a Happy New Year, and stand strong. You guys are so much more powerful than you give yourselves credit for. Like, seriously, I know some of you personally. You guys are so powerful and your gifts are so amazing. It's time for you to trust in those and trust in yourself and take massive action in 2020, right? It's time for action. It's time for you to step into who you've always been and who you're going to be. It's time for you to be that change that you are desiring and become the creator of your reality. So I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.